The wind howled across the empty stretch of Archer Avenue, rustling the dying leaves along the roadside. The city of Chicago was alive behind the veil of distant lights, but this road seemed forgotten, a relic caught between memory and myth. The asphalt gleamed beneath the full moon, and the occasional car headlights flickered through the shadows like ghosts searching for home. Among the few who drove this road often were long-haul truckers, weary souls who carried more than just freight. They carried stories, and some stories refused to stay buried. One such night, James Jimmy Walker was behind the wheel of his rig, a silver Kenworth with a worn-out pine tree air freshener swaying from the rear view. He was hauling pallets from Joliet back to central Illinois. The job was uneventful, and Jimmy liked it that way. He'd seen enough wrecks in his time to know that quiet roads were blessings. But Archer Avenue had its own kind of quiet, the kind that wrapped around the soul and whispered through the cracks. The time was creeping toward 2 a.m. when he saw her, a figure on the side of the road, dressed in white. The hem of her dress floated just above her ankles, bare feet on cold pavement. She stood still, facing the oncoming traffic, one hand raised, not urgently, not in panic, but calm, as though she knew someone would stop. Jimmy's foot eased off the gas, more out of instinct than intention. As he slowed down, he got a better look at her through the windshield. Blonde hair, curled at the shoulders, pale skin glowing in the moonlight, and eyes, deep, distant eyes that looked like they belonged to another time. He pulled the rig over, tires crunching gravel. She didn't speak. She simply opened the passenger door and climbed in, moving like fog on water. Her white dress shimmered faintly, and the scent of lilacs filled the cabin. Jimmy opened his mouth to ask if she was all right, but something in her presence silenced him. She sat with hands folded on her lap, eyes fixed ahead. "Where to?" Jimmy asked, finally finding his voice. She turned to him, offering a soft smile. "Just up the road," she said, her voice like the echo of a song half remembered. He nodded and put the truck in gear. They drove in silence. The rumble of the diesel engine filled the cab, a comforting noise in an otherwise surreal moment. Jimmy had picked up hitchhikers before, though rarely at night, and never someone quite like her. She didn't look scared or cold. She didn't fidget or ask questions. She just stared ahead, as though watching something he couldn't see. After a few minutes, she spoke again. "Do you believe in spirits?" Jimmy chuckled nervously. "I'm a trucker. I believe in bad coffee and late-night radio." She didn't laugh. Her head tilted slightly. "Some roads remember more than others." He glanced at her, unsettled. "You from around here?" Her eyes met his, and in that brief moment, Jimmy felt as if he'd fallen into a dream. Her gaze was sad, not dramatic or haunted, but weary, as though she'd been waiting too long for something that never came. She turned back to the road before answering. "I used to be." They passed Resurrection Cemetery, the gates barely visible through the iron bars and heavy shadows. Jimmy felt a shiver crawl up his spine. He didn't believe in ghosts, not really. But every trucker knew the story of the girl who haunted this road, the one in the white dress who vanished into the night. He never thought much of it, until now. Suddenly she spoke again. "Can you stop here?" He looked around. They were at a curve near the cemetery's edge. No house, no car, no crossroad, just trees and graves. "You sure?" he asked. She nodded. "Thank you for the ride." She opened the door before he could respond. As she stepped out, the wind picked up, and the scent of lilacs grew stronger. Jimmy leaned over the console. "Hey, wait! You need a flashlight or something? It's pitch." But she was gone, just like that. Gone. The door hung open, and the passenger seat was empty. Jimmy's heart pounded in his chest. He jumped out of the truck, scanning the roadside. No sign of her. No footprints. No rustle in the grass. He stared at the cemetery gates. Cold sweat trickled down his back. He climbed back into the truck and slammed the door shut. The scent of lilacs lingered. His hands shook as he restarted the engine and drove away. The rest of the night passed in a blur, but that moment never left him. The next day, Jimmy stopped at a diner frequented by other truckers. He sat at the counter, nursing a cup of black coffee. He couldn't keep it in. "You guys ever hear of a girl on Archer Avenue?" he asked. The man next to him, a grizzled veteran named Ron, looked up slowly. "You picked her up, didn't you?" Jimmy froze. "What the hell are you talking about?" Ron leaned in. "Mary, Resurrection Mary. Been hitching rides since the 1930s. Always wearing white. Always heading home. But she never gets there." Jimmy's mouth went dry. "I thought it was just a story." "It is," Ron said. "Until it's not."